Hey everyone, my name is Max at 343 Labs. We're a music production school in New York City, Berlin, and online. And today I'd like to show you a clip by one of our instructors, Beck, where he talks about why maybe your studio monitors aren't giving you the low end that you're looking for. This clip is taken from 343 TV, which airs every day right here on our YouTube channel. If you enjoy this clip, please subscribe and let's get into it.
Studio monitors are usually not going to give you low end that you want. It's hard to find a studio monitor that's going to give you the actual feeling of roundness and warmth that your kick is really going to sound like when you go and play it in like a huge club, or on like a festival sound system. A kick that might sound weak and like it's not actually doing much actually might be ridiculously powerful. But your speakers just aren't representing it, right? Well, there are a couple reasons for that. So, one, most speakers don't represent anything between 30 hertz, or below 30 hertz, sorry. And if they do, they don't do it very cleanly, right? And then the second reason, which is honestly the more important thing, is that you just might not be sitting in the right place in your room, or your room might not just like reproduce those frequencies very well, right? So the thing with low end to keep in mind, a little kind of trick to understand what your low end is actually doing, is to walk around your room when you're listening to it and trying to figure out if it's a good kick or not, right? So a lot of the times, and this is not a joke, I'll walk to the back of the room to kind of feel what the low end feels like. And the reason that actually can work is because, just to get down to physics a little bit, I know this is a little bit boring, but this is actually a really important thing to understand about the way sound works, right? Is that a lower frequency oscillation, which is a lower frequency, right? So just low-end material in general, literally takes more space to complete a cycle. So a lot of the times what can happen is that you'll be sitting at a place in your room where A, the cycle hasn't actually completed, or B, the cycle has completed, but is also reflected and is now canceling itself out. We call this a standing wave, right? And so a lot of the times, you'll be in your room and you'll be like, damn it, why would I move close to my speaker, which is where I want to listen to it? I don't hear the low end, but then I move back and all of a sudden I hear it all, right? Well, that's what's happening. And so the thing is that a good way to be able to actually gauge whether or not your low end is, quote, working or powerful is actually to listen to what it's doing to the other instruments in the track. And so the best way to figure out whether or not your low end is grooving, right, or is powerful really, is to actually listen to if it sounds like your other instruments are just pulled down a teeny little bit, like into the speaker when you turn it on. Right, so we can actually hear that the hi-hat ever so slightly feels like it retracts into the speaker when I turn on the low end. When I turn on the kick drum specifically. Now, the reason that happens, and that's a good thing by the way, the reason that's happening is because literally what a speaker is doing, right, the way that speaker technology works, is it's being fed a positive or negative impulse, right? So the speaker goes out and then in. So all that you're doing when you're producing music, and this is again on a very technical level, but this is, if you start thinking about it like this, not all the time, but just, like every once in a while, I'll be like, oh yeah, remember what Beck said about speakers? And think about that, right? And apply it to your mix. All you're really doing is shaping the way that air is coming out of the speaker. And so the thing is that the speaker drivers on pretty much every speaker in the world, okay, what'll happen is that the more low-end energy you push out, the more air it's actually pushing out, right? And so what starts to happen is that the high-frequency drivers, right, are actually going to basically be slightly overpowered by the low-frequency driver, right? So what actually is literally happening is that the air pressure that is coming out of the low end of the speaker is so much more powerful than the high frequencies, right? that they actually are sort of fighting to get out. So one way to tell if your kick is too loud is if you feel your whole track sink every time you turn the kick on, right? One way to tell if your kick is not loud enough or not powerful enough is if nothing in your track moves at all. Now, some people would argue that that's actually the best thing that you want, but the thing is, right, is that when you're mixing dance music, when you're making a club record, you want impact, right? You want that push-pull, push-pull. So one of the benefits of having a shorter kick drum, for instance, is that every time it stops, your track is actually going to come out. Come out. It's going to push out of the speaker a little bit more. It's going to actually create natural side chaining, right? So, of course, you can create the pushing and pulling with side chain, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to be using side chain to try to actually create that push and pull. But the thing is that if your kick note is too long, it's just not really going to work.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget, 343 TV goes live every day right here on our YouTube channel. And if you want to learn more about music production, come take a class with us or just join our community. You can find more information at 343labs.com or 343labs.de for our German website. See you next time.